Hey guys, Colin here with a great awareness exercise for those of you that have what's called a posterior pelvic tilt and a swayback. So posterior pelvic tilt means that you tend to tuck your pelvis underneath and push your hips forward. As a result, what happens is the middle back tends to arch backwards and then round forward. So that has a tendency to create this kind of suspension system that's not ideal for your body. Tends to put a ton of pressure on your hip flexors right here because they run from the inside of your thighs up and into your back, and they're working very hard to try and pull you back upright. So they're not exactly tight, they're pulled taut, so they're pulled to their full length. The rounding tends to cause compression through the chest, compression through the breathing, pinching of the brachial plexus into the arms, and the head tends to come forward to counteract the rounding of the upper body, which puts pressure on the back of your neck. So you can see this isn't a good cascading effect on your body. What we want to do is develop some awareness around that and some options for your body to hold itself in a more appropriate manner. So what I'm going to have you do is stand against a wall with your heels against the wall and your butt against the wall. I'm going to have you go ahead and put your shoulders and your head against the wall also. Even this might feel unnatural to some people. From this position, what we want you to first play with is the ability to tilt your pelvis forward and backward. If you're stuck in this backward position, that's your norm. To break free, we want to start by having you slowly tilt forward with your pelvis. So standing with your back against the wall, heels, butt, back, shoulders, head against the wall. From this position, you're now going to slowly tilt your pelvis forward. And as you do this, I want you to be really careful what you're doing with your body. We only want to move from here down. So we don't want the sternum to come forward. It's just the pelvis. So it's a very small movement. And what you'll feel is you'll feel your lower back come away from the wall a little bit. What you don't want to experience, what you don't want to do is have your middle back come off the wall at all. So this could be a very small movement. And ideally it has to be a small movement in the beginning in order to be able to get that low back to come off the wall a little bit. Once you've done that, take a deep breath. Just try and relax in that position a little bit. And now what you're going to do is tuck your pelvis underneath like you're used to. And as you tuck underneath, you should feel your back flatten to the wall a bit. And with that flattening to the wall, I want you to again take a deep breath and just let your body rest into that position. And I'm going to have you go back and forth like that for about 30 seconds. The idea behind this is to give your pelvis options as to how to hold itself. The next thing we also need to take a look at is any kind of seated position or just your general standing position. So because the tendency is to tuck under here, right, and around here, we want to do the opposite. So I'm going to have you stand, and I'm going to have you tilt your pelvis forward a little bit as if you're sticking your butt out, but I don't want your chest to come way forward. What I want you to do is imagine there's a string attached to the top of your head, elongating your spine, and then put your fingers right on your chin and push your chin back. Once you're in that position, you're going to take about 10 deep breaths into the belly, not into the chest. So put your hands on your belly, take a deep breath in. As you breathe out, you're just going to try and relax into that position. It's going to feel very foreign to you because this isn't how your body's used to stabilizing, but this is the ideal that you're trying to work toward. So in the standing position again, right, you're going from being tucked underneath like this to tilting the pelvis forward and sticking the butt out and back a little bit. This will create a little more arch in your low back, and you're going to make sure your sternum doesn't come way forward when you do that. And your shoulders, we don't want those to round way forward. Instead, we want to elongate through the spine, which will naturally bring the shoulders back a bit without letting this come forward. So what we're doing is you're teaching your parts of your body to move individually rather than to be reactive to each other. So the pelvis, the mid-back, and the neck and head need to be able to move separate. So that last part is the chin coming back, which gives a nice stretch to the muscles in the back of the head. So that's the standing part of it. The sitting part is real similar. When you're seated, and I'm just going to tip my camera down here for you. If you have that posterior tilt, you tend to be like this, okay? What I want you to do You tend to be like this, and the back comes back like this, and the shoulders round like this. What you're going to do is you're going to tilt the pelvis forward. Watch for the tendency for the sternum to want to push too far forward and the shoulders to want to round. So what I'm going to have you do again is from that position, bring the sternum back just a little bit and elongate through the spine. Then you're going to take your fingertips, push them on your chin, and do a chin tuck, bringing your head back. Now we're starting to align the spine so that the weight of your body, the gravity that's pulling down on your body, can be supported correctly by your bones and your spine. Otherwise, when you're like this and like this and like this, each of those points where there's a deviation, gravity gets stuck and it creates excess pressure and pain and strain patterns through your back and neck. So hopefully this was helpful. Check in with your body regularly, standing, sitting, do the wall exercise, and you'll develop a level of awareness that will help your body to realize the most correct position to hold it and be able to relieve those pain and strain patterns.